Chapter 22, Deep Practice. Deep practice is a different kind of thing, and most martial artists don't get there. Most martial artists spend their time repetitively hammering on hard skills. It's not the worst existence in the world, but eventually it becomes unsatisfying. Unless, of course, you love repetition, and then there you go. Nevertheless, developing deep practice is crucial for improving skills in any domain. Deep practice was popularized in a book, The Talent Code, by Daniel Coyle. He refers to it as a focused and deliberate approach to learning that promotes long-term, meaningful improvement. We're going to give you our take on it, and we think you're going to enjoy it. The first thing about deep practice is that you have to ask, who is this about? Is it about you? Or is it about satisfying your instructor's expectations? Is it about you owning a technique? Or is it about you aping a technique from your instructor? That's a huge question. It's a hard one to ask, but it's where you have to start. There's nothing wrong with aspiring to do what your teacher has done. God bless you. Carry on. At a certain point, however, you do have to move out of your instructor's basement, and you do need to find your own path. The next question is, what do you want? Are you seeking a more powerful technique? Are you seeking a deeper understanding of the techniques that you're doing, how they are assembled together? Are you looking at the global atmosphere? Are you searching for something more spiritual than physical? There are a lot of questions in there about what you want. If you've decided that, as Kris did one time, hey, I'm going to have the best Shikodachi in the entire world. Further, I'm going to spend a year doing it. Did he succeed? We don't know. There's no Guinness World Record for karate stances, and even if there was, who knows how we'd measure it. But he certainly gained a lot by the exploration. Lawrence spent a year doing Sanshin Kata at least one time a day every day. No one asked him to. It was about him. It was about self-discovery. Regardless of what you study in depth, that's number one. It needs to be for you. Number two, what we wanted was a deeper understanding of the form, application, or technique. We weren't necessarily seeking better technique, though those often go hand in glove. They're not separate, but our focus was not on the skill set as much as it was on wanting better, deeper understanding. Now, the next question you have to ask yourself is, why can't I get there? Is it that your work schedule isn't allowing you to get to the school to train? Well, that's on you. Go find your time. It can be 5 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday in your garage. We don't care. This is about deep practice. It does not have to be under, and we would suggest that in many instances, it should not be under the direct supervision of your teacher. You've got to go about it and find the things that light you up, have your epiphanies, your experience. This is what separates deep practice from the fundamentals, from hard skills and soft skills. The goal is not rote practice, but deep understanding. Then you need to ask yourself the fourth question. What do I do about it? We're big believers in chunking. We like to break things down in the same way the scientific method does. Let's make this the smallest increment that still has the attributes of what we want to study. Let's analyze that. There are advantages and disadvantages to doing it that way, but it gives us a myopic focus. It makes us laser-like in our direction, and you, in turn, get a laser-like focus from adopting this policy. That's what you're going to do about it. Laser-like focus, it might be anything in the martial arts. Now, if you say to yourself, I'm going to kick the bag harder, great. Let's break down the mechanics of that. Let's break down some of the issues. Your age, your flexibility. How are you striking the bag? Are you using a Mawashi Geri, Mei Geri, or Yoko Geri? Are you striking with your shin, using the top of your foot, the ball of your foot? How are your hip muscles working in concert with your thighs? What are you doing? You got to break it down. You got to chunk it, study each component part to give yourself the best opportunity for a breakthrough. We don't know that you're going to be successful without chunking. And like we said, it's breaking it down to where you have the elements of it, but it still is what it is. In other words, if we take a certain aspect out of a roundhouse kick, It's not a roundhouse kick anymore. It becomes a leg flailing out there. There are basic elements that are essential, and you have to identify those. Then you can begin to go through them piece by piece. The fifth question is, why doesn't it work? To continue the example of kicking the bag harder, why doesn't it work? What's going on? Start looking at the chunks. Ask yourself, am I turning my base foot? Is my hip coming around? Am I leaning too far forward? Those are all body position questions and anatomy questions. They're hard. Some things are easy to get your hand around and grasp and say, I can choke this thing now. I can squeeze this to death. But then there starts to become the soft techniques, the soft training. Those are like trying to nail Jell-O to the wall. They are difficult. If you start with those basic elements, the constituents, the scientific method, and chunking, then you can begin to build a total. You can begin to look at this together, the little pieces, and go, okay, this is where I'm falling short, or this is where I'm very successful. Now, how do I build that into the rest of the technique? Now we're talking about technique, but these could be simple things like attitude, perspective of the environment. These things are all part of deep practice. And here's the toughest question you have to ask yourself. How does it end? We're going to throw an arbitrary end to this. You know, that classic thing. Oh, martial arts. You know, the never ends. It's always ongoing. Yes, it is. That point where you say, here's my mile marker. This is how it ends for this period of my training. Deep skills. How does it end? And here's the thing. We gave that to you as the sixth item, but it's actually number 1, because number 1's going to give you a goal. 1. Who is this about? 2. What do I want? 3. Why can't I get there? 4. What do I do about it? And 5. Why isn't it working? The sixth one, 6. How does it end? So now that you've worked through the whole process, we're going to have you move that last one up to the top. If we started with how does it end at number 1, we think it would be a little too confusing in the sense that it doesn't follow a logical progression. Martial arts are built on logical progression. We see it in belt and sash systems, for example. These are mile markers that indicate progress from beginner toward expert. A tip on deep practice: there needs to be some isolation. You need to make it your own. You've broken down the individual elements of the skill, and you've isolated them, chunking, breaking them down. We're also going to suggest that you engage in some personal isolation and that you work on this of your own accord. Work the specifics and hone your expertise, but do it in isolation. Oh, sure, you can do it in public. We're not saying you shouldn't ever show what you're doing, but if you decide to go into isolation, you're going to make errors. Those errors are good. They inform what you're doing if you're paying attention. You know, we talk about mistakes as learning opportunities. Well, the next question is why. Embracing mistakes is easy to do, but don't walk past that mistake. Treat it as valid as a success. That means that you understand the success and you understand the mistake and what underpinning actions led to each outcome. As we said, you decide to do this of your own accord with little help or aid. You might seek a little bit of help when you meet a speed bump, but understand that 82.5% of your deep practice training is done in isolation. We made that number up, but it's directionally correct. It's your isolation in your brain. Even though you may be doing the technique in a group atmosphere, you're still owning it yourself. You're still working on it yourself. You're still internally oriented. There are other things you could throw in like patience, perseverance, and self-awareness, ideas that you already know. But for deep practice, we're going to tell you that it's those 6 elements that you have to put in place. Determine what it is you want to do, applying the 6 elements of 1. How does it end? 2. Who is this about? 3. What do I want? 4. Why can't I get there? 5. What do I do about it? 6. Why isn't it working? This process will help you create deep practice. Clearly, this is a huge topic, and we're just hitting the top lines on it for you. Search, explore, and learn. It's what drives the evolution of your martial arts. Takeaways. Most martial artists spend their time repetitively hammering on hard skills, yet deep practice is what separates the extraordinary practitioners from the ordinary ones. There's a 6-step process wherein you chunk applications into their component details, and in doing so reach deeper understanding. Embrace your mistakes, but don't walk past them. They're as valid for personal growth as your successes. Quotes. In the martial arts, it's not how much you've learned, but how much you have absorbed from what you have learned. Bruce Lee. You should make it a habit of putting your all into every little thing you do. Koichi Tohei. Don't limit yourself, and don't let anyone put a limit on your potential. Randa Marcos.